Hello and welcome to all. From today we are starting a new series that is HTML First Step Towards Web Development, and it is the part 1 of our series. In this series we will discuss the following points. First of all, we will do a quick introduction of this topic HTML. Then I will show you how to save or create the HTML files or HTML pages. Then we will go through the concept of tags and attributes of HTML. Then we will discuss about the basic tags, character entities, inserting text in HTML, using lists and images, inserting tables, working with links, and at last we will create a short website with a few pages and some other elements, where we will also include the concept of forms. After completing the series of HTML, our next series will be a CSS series, where we will discuss about some tools through which we can make some professional looking websites. So before starting the series, let's see what we are going to learn in HTML and why it is so important for all of us. Well, if we talk about HTML, then HTML is a very important part for all those who are interested in learning computers. Whether you are in class 5 or in class 10 or you are doing your graduation, we all have a desire to create our own websites. And for learning the web development or for creating our own websites, the first step toward web development is hypertext markup language, that is HTML. Well, it is the core language that is used for web development. It means it is the first language which you will be using whenever you are creating any kind of web page or any website. This HTML is a layout language. It means it will help you to create a layout where you can easily define where do you want to put the text, where do you want to put the headings, where do you want to put the images, tables, and on all the other elements of our web page. To beautify these layouts or to beautify these HTML pages, we use CSS. CSS is a separate set of scripting language that is generally used to beautify the HTML output. It is generally used to beautify the HTML output. Well, by implementing the CSS in the HTML, we can give a texture to our web page and it will start looking a professional website. Well, we can set a number of properties, we can set a number of features in our page which we cannot directly implement just by using HTML. So the CSS is a very important part, or we can say that it's a very important connected element of HTML that everyone must have to learn when they are learning HTML. So in this video series, first we will look about this HTML language, and then after finishing these HTML videos, our next series will be on CSS. In this HTML course or in this HTML web series, I will try my best to cover most of the elements of HTML, most of the tags of HTML in 7 to 8 videos only. So it means it will be a short course, but yes, I would say that might be the timings of these videos will not be fixed. I will try my best to update or post all the videos regularly, and each video will be of 30 to 40 minutes video. So if you are interested in computers, if you want to learn web development in detail, then it's a must topic for you all. So I will suggest you to not skip this part. So without killing your time, now let's see what is HTML in general. So our first slide is Introduction to HTML. Well, this HTML is a term which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and this term has a meaning. In this term Hypertext Markup Language, every word has a specific meaning. It has 3 words: hypertext, markup, and language. The first word hypertext means beautified text with linking capabilities. So what I've said just now, I was telling you that this term hypertext means a beautified text with linking capabilities. मतलब क्या हुआ भाई इसका, एक ऐसा टेक्स्ट जो दिखने में अच्छा हो, मतलब उसमें कुछ फॉन्ट कलर होगा, फॉन्ट विड्थ होगी, फॉन्ट स्टाइल होगा, फॉन्ट साइज होगा, प्लस उसी टेक्स्ट को हम लोग लिंक के फॉर्म में भी कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं. वेल, इन HTML we just don't use the text all the time. Along with the text, we can also use images, videos, audio clips, and n number of multimedia objects. Then our second term is markup. Well, this term markup means to wrap up something. It is to wrap something. Well, HTML is a tag-based language, and in HTML everything should have to be bounded inside the opening tags and closing tags. मतलब क्या हुआ भाई, जब भी हम लोग HTML के प्रोग्राम लिखते हैं तो इन HTML के प्रोग्राम्स को हम लोग एक टैग के अंदर लिखते हैं. लाइक ऐसे हम लोग एक टैग को ओपन करेंगे, फिर वहाँ पे कुछ टेक्स्ट आएगा, एंड देन वी हैव टू क्लोज द टैग. So this feature where we are binding our text in between these opening and closing tag is termed as markup. And at last we have this term language. Well, language means a mode of communication. For example, right now we are using a mode of communication where I'm using either Hindi or English language to explain you my concepts. In the same manner, we all have our own set of language that we use in our family or in between our friend circle, whether we are sharing something or we are talking to someone else. In the same manner, our computer also needs some languages. So this HTML is a type of language which helps our web browser to understand the codes and commands, and on that basis only it generates the outputs. So here this term HTML stands for hypertext markup language, which means a programming language or a scripting language where we can create beautified text with the links, and we use tags for writing all these text, and it's a kind of language which interacts with the web browsers. Fine. So you have to note down one more point, that is HTML is a language for web browsers. ये क्या होता है भाई HTML? HTML basically works for web browsers, so we can say that HTML is a language for web browsers, because by using this HTML we can command our web browser to generate our specific output. Now let's move to the next point. Our next point is, it's a tag based language. HTML is a tag based language. Then point number 3, HTML is generally used for creating web pages or website और all sort of things that we can see on internet. मतलब जितनी भी चीज़ें हम लोग को इंटरनेट पे विजिबल होती हैं, whether it's a website, it's a web portal or a web page, everything we can create by using the tools or the tags of HTML. The next point is, every detail of a HTML page is written in tags. Well, while you will create a HTML page, everything that you will write, whether it's a name or it's a paragraph or it's a link or it's a list or it's an image, everything that you will write in HTML, everything will be in the tags. And for writing these tags, we use these type of pairs, where this one is termed as opening tag and this one along with the slash is termed as the closing tag. Well, opening tag and closing tag makes a complete pair for 90% of the HTML tags. Well, in HTML, 90% of the tags have to be closed, so that's why this opening tag and closing tag makes a complete pair for 90% of the HTML tags. Now the most important thing about HTML, that is, HTML ignores all the extra spaces. HTML never looks or never checks for any extra space. If by mistake you have left some spaces, HTML will ignore it. Or if purposely you have left some spaces, still HTML will ignore all the spaces. So we cannot directly use the spaces in HTML. The next point is HTML documents start with the opening HTML tag and ends with the closing HTML tag along with a slash. Well, whenever I'm saying opening tag, it means you have to write a tag name inside the angular brackets like this. And whenever I'm saying a closing tag, it means the same tag name we have to write, but this time that tag name will start with a slash. So HTML document starts with the opening tag and ends with this kind of closing tag. Now, whenever we are working with the HTML, it is compulsory for us to save all the HTML pages with .htm or .html extension. If you won't save your pages with .htm or .html extensions, your pages or your output will not work properly. Now next thing, HTML codes can be written by using any kind of text editing software. Well, any text editor you can use for writing HTML programs. Well, I do suggest you to use either Sublime Text or Notepad++. But if you are a beginner and you want to practice or revise all the tags all by your own, then you can use the normal Notepad only. Fine. So we can write the HTML programs by using any kind of simple text editing software. And for checking the output, we have to use web browsers. For checking the outputs, we have to use a web browser program. Now let's see how to create and save the HTML pages. As I've told you just now, an HTML page can be created by using any text editor. For example, Notepad. Well, Notepad is available in all the computers. Alternatively, you can also use Sublime Text and Notepad++. Well, in my preference, Sublime Text is the most usable and one of the key text editing software for all the web developers. So you can prefer this one also. And for checking the output, you can use any web browser. Any web browser means any sort of web browser that you do have in your mobile phone or in your computer. It can be Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer, or the new sensational one, that is Edge, Microsoft Edge. Now I'll have a look over the structure of our HTML document. Whenever we start our HTML programs, we have to initiate the programs with this opening tag and we have to end all the HTML programs with the closing tag. But before discussing this piece of structure, we must have to understand one thing. Whenever you will write something in the HTML, you have to use the angular brackets. Fine. Whenever you are writing a tag, you will use the angular brackets. Whenever you will close the tag, then in the closing section along with the angular brackets, you have to use the slash also. And whenever you are writing a simple text, for example, over this side I have written a simple text. Over this side I have written a simple text. Or in this section I have written a simple text. So whenever you are writing a simple text, for writing normal text that you want to check in your output or that you want to see in your output, for that piece of text you don't have to use the angular brackets. ठीक है, सिंपल से मतलब है भाई कि जब भी किसी भी कमांड को या टैग को लिख रहे हो वहां पे एंगुलर ब्रैकेट्स यूज करने हैं, और जब कोई नॉर्मल टेक्स्ट लिख रहे हो जिसको अपने आउटपुट में चेक करना चाहते हो तो उसके लिए एंगुलर ब्रैकेट्स का यूज नहीं करना है. अब बात करते हैं स्ट्रक्चर की. तो भाई याद रखना, हमेशा जो हम लोगों के HTML के पेजेस होते हैं, ऑल द HTMल डॉक्यूमेंट्स स्टार्ट विद दिस ओपनिंग HTML टैग एंड at the end of the page you have to end all your documents by using the closing HTML tag. After initiating the opening HTML tag, our next element is always this head tag. मतलब क्या हुआ भाई, सबसे पहले प्रोग्राम में हम लोग HTML टैग को ओपन करेंगे, उसके बाद हम लोगों को हेड टैग को ओपन करना है. ठीक है. अब एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज यहाँ पर और समझने वाली है हम लोगों की. अब ये जो HTML टैग हम लोग अपने ओपन करते हैं प्रोग्राम्स में, ये एक रूट टैग है. इट्स अ रूट टैग और अ पेरेंट एलिमेंट. फाइन, ये एक रूट टैग है या फिर एक पेरेंट एलिमेंट है. इस HTML के दो चाइल्ड एलिमेंट्स होते हैं. इट हैज टू चाइल्ड्स. दीज टू चाइल्ड्स आर हेड टैग एंड बॉडी टैग। इतना याद रखना। HTML के दो चाइल्ड एलिमेंट्स हैं, यानी HTML के अंदर यूज होने वाली दो सब टैग्स हैं, और वो दो सब टैग्स हैं हेड टैग और बॉडी टैग। प्लस उसके बाद हेड टैग के अंदर भी कुछ सब टैग्स यूज होती हैं। तो हेड के अंदर यूज होने वाले सब टैग्स हैं टाइटल टैग, मेटा टैग, देन उसके बाद तीन ऑप्शनल टैग्स रहती हैं, स्क्रिप्ट टैग, स्टाइल टैग एंड लिंक टैग। तो भाई ये कुछ टैग्स हैं, ये कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट टैग्स हैं जो हम लोग हमेशा हेड के अंदर एज अ चाइल्ड ऑफ हेड यूज करते हैं। एंड इफ वी टॉक अबाउट बॉडी टैग, देन ऑल द रिमेनिंग टैग्स, जितनी भी टैग्स अब बच जाती हैं इसके बाद, वेदर इट्स अ हेडिंग टैग, it's a paragraph tag, it's a bold, italic, underline, font tag, base font tag, or it is table tag, anchor tag, li tag, all the sort of remaining tags are the child element of body tag. ठीक है, तो अगर तुम लोग चाहो तो इस वाले छोटे से पेज का एक स्क्रीनशॉट ले सकते हो फॉर योर रेफरेंस पर्पस, जिससे तुम लोगों को ये टैग्स की हायरार्की याद रहेगी। अब वापस आते हैं अपने स्ट्रक्चर पे। नाउ बिकॉज HTML के दो चाइल्ड एलिमेंट्स हैं, एक चाइल्ड एलिमेंट है हेड और दूसरा चाइल्ड एलिमेंट है बॉडी, इसलिए जो हमारा HTML पेज है ये दो सेक्शंस में डिवाइडेड है। फर्स्ट सेक्शन इज टर्म्ड एज हेड सेक्शन एंड सेकंड सेक्शन इज टर्म्ड एज बॉडी सेक्शन। तो ये जो हमारा हेड सेक्शन है वो यहाँ से यहाँ तक का है, और बॉडी सेक्शन इस वाले केस में यहाँ से यहाँ तक का है। इन द हेड सेक्शन वी हैव टू यूज अ कंपल्सरी टैग दैट इज टाइटल टैग। तो बस इस छोटे से सिंटेक्स को याद रखना है, स्ट्रक्चर को याद रखना है। जब भी कोई भी HTML का प्रोग्राम फॉलो करते हो तो ये जो हम लोग स्ट्रक्चर अभी यहाँ पे यूज कर रहे हैं, इस स्ट्रक्चर को हमेशा यूज करना है हम लोगों को। इट मीन्स हमेशा प्रोग्राम HTML टैग से स्टार्ट होगा, उसके बाद हेड सेक्शन ओपन होगा, हेड सेक्शन के अंदर हम लोग टाइटल टैग को ओपन करेंगे, और इस टाइटल टैग में जो भी तुम्हारे पेज का टाइटल होगा, या फिर अपने वेब ब्राउजर में टाइटल बार में व्हाट एवर यू वांट टू डिस्प्ले, यू हैव टू राइट दैट पीस ऑफ टेक्स्ट इन द टाइटल टैग. Once you are done with the title, you have to close the title tag and then you have to close the head tag. After this much, let's move to our second section, that is body section. In the body section, for initiating the body section, we can write a body tag directly. Either you can write this or you can directly write body. यहाँ पर हम लोग एक attribute यूज कर रहे हैं, that is BG color. BG color attribute का काम होता है हमारे वेब ब्राउजर में एक बैकग्राउंड जनरेट करना, एक कलर्ड बैकग्राउंड जनरेट करना। तो यहाँ पर फिलहाल हम लोगों के HTML पेज में एक ब्लू कलर का बैकग्राउंड जनरेट होगा। बट इफ यू विल राइट इट लाइक दिस विदाउट यूजिंग द BG कलर, देन योर बैकग्राउंड विल बी वाइट बाय डिफॉल्ट। ठीक है, अब इसके बाद जो ये जितना भी सेक्शन है, ये सारे का सारा सेक्शन ऑप्शनल होता है। तो इस वाले ऑप्शनल सेक्शन को अभी हम लोग डिस्कस नहीं कर रहे हैं, बट ओवर दिस साइड यू हैव टू राइट योर पेज कंटेंट। जो भी पेज का कंटेंट होगा, हम लोग वो सारा का सारा कंटेंट इस जगह पे मेंशन करते हैं। ठीक है, सारा कंटेंट लिखने के बाद वी हैव टू क्लोज द बॉडी टैग एंड देन वी हैव टू क्लोज द HTML टैग एंड दैट्स इट. So it was about the structure of HTML. So today we have discussed about the basics of HTML. It was just a quick introduction along with the structure of HTML. In the next class we will discuss about all the other tags and attributes of HTML in detail, and I will also show you how we can create websites or a simple web page by using HTML. If in case you have any query, then you can email your queries to us at computorial.in@gmail.com, or you can also email your queries to contact us @computorial.in. You can also follow our website, that is www.computorial.in, and soon from our website you can download the notes of HTML also. So thank you everyone. Keep learning, stay safe, and if you haven't subscribed our channel yet, then please go and subscribe it now.